Hey guys, this is Invisible Jong over here, and welcome to COA 6 Recap Korean Region. This new series I'm going to do is going to be a recap of every region in COA 6. As we all know, COA 6 is ongoing right now, with teams all across the entire world battling to qualify for the main event in April. And what I'll be doing here is to do a recap of all regions, including best plays, notable strategies, and I may commentate some matches videos in the future too. Before we start, just a quick reminder. In COA 6, the persona and map change that has been applied a few months ago came into play, meaning this is the end of the 369 era. In this meta, the priority of the forward has dropped severely, as without 369, he is also a vulnerable character himself. As a result, he is no longer a character that is selected the moment he's not banned. On the other hand, the Antiquarian, or as the Chinese players called her, Gushen, have massively increased due to her having an all-round kit, can harass, support, and kite all at the same time. So, the COA 6 is definitely going to see a rise of the Antiquarian meta. The region I'll be recapping today is the Korean region. The Korean region is the first region to start the qualifiers, and after 3 days of intense battle, MS managed to defeat AW and qualify for COA 6 finals for the second year in a row. If I can use one word to describe the Korean qualifier regions, it'll be unconventional. In the China region, the character choices selected are typically stale, but that's not the case for the Korean region. For example, we can see this, and even this. Never the day did I expect I'll see a nightmare in competitive IDV. Also, the Joker actually done decently in his match too, while the Hermit has scored a 4K in his debut match. Honestly, if you're looking to watch a variety of hunter and characters, Korean region is the region for you. Another thing I noticed about the Korean region is there do tend to be critical errors across survivor teams. From micro gameplay, we can see Seer using out at wrong timing, giving out unnecessary hits, or hiding in questionable places. In more of a macro gameplay, we also see sometimes there are mismanagement of health status against the Hermit. But then again, the game has not grown a lot in the Korean region, so it is expected that they haven't grown a lot as a server too. Hunters, on the other hand, proves to be a force to reckon with here, as it is common to see hunters score 4Ks over and over, and sometimes it will turn into a race of who can score more points among hunters. So overall, the Korean region is a region where mostly hunters score their points. With that, let's go through some of the matches that stood out for me. In quarterfinals, MF vs Geo BO1 second half, that is where the Joker has appeared. The Joker was pulled out against an extreme Cypher rushing team, and he managed to play very decently, securing an early down and using all his dashes pretty well. Unfortunately, Geo's Cypher rushing team also paid off, as with the extreme decoding speed, Joker never had a chance to truly utilize his strong chasing and only got a tie. In semi-finals, HW vs MS, HW's Toukng pulled out his nightmare against MS, and his nightmare actually proved himself, securing early elimination and applying ample map pressure by jumping back and forth. For instance, he managed to put most survivors in the brink of death and was very close to 4K. Unfortunately, he made some wrong decisions and allowed the survivor to reach a 3-man endgame, but he still managed to score a 3K in the end, and the fact that he can pull out Nightmare in this meta and was so close to 4K, that alone is definitely amazing to say the least. In quarterfinals, MS vs QC BO2 first half, Mitaki stacked the female dancer to 98% moisture, and instead of waiting to throw the harpoon, he daringly blinked onto the dancer to stack his moisture on the dancer to instant get moisture damage and down. Such of a daring move allowed him to secure this down very fast and build up a good foundation for his 4K later on. In semi-finals, AW vs MF, over here after eliminating the barmaid, the clerk managed to secure the psychologist near her and seemingly she can get a tie. But having a flywheel, she managed to utilize it and dodge the attack from the clerk, allowing her to escape through the dungeon narrowly, securing a free escape from a tie. In quarterfinals AW vs NES, LB had a survivor chaired at the basement, but the cipher is already primed, making it seemingly a guaranteed rescue. But then, LB managed to do the blink dropping trick to cancel the attack recovery, and then he used the moisture to pop the entomologist and got the final camp the moment borrowed time came into play. Such skilled gameplay has managed to help him secure a tie into a 4K. For those of you who didn't know, the blink dropping trick is, after clicking on the attack animation, you then instantly drag on the blink button. Then during the attack recovery, you can release the blink button to drop down and cancel the attack recovery. As long as you can pull the blink button before the attack registers, you'll be able to pull this trick off and do some insane plays through this. Top stars of the Korean region are definitely the hunters from both finalists, Mitaki from MS and LB from AW. For MS, their hunter Mitaki proves a force to be reckoned with. Before the finals, he managed to score not 1, not 2, not even 3 or 4, but 5 out of 5 4Ks. This is something huge, as he showcased a large variety of hunters, having proficiency in 4King with Dream Witch, Naiad, Cltch, and Geisha. With 5 4Ks in a row, he managed to lead his teams to the finals. For LB, he was also a terrifying hunter throughout the qualifier. Their hunter LB, being Hermit main, is the first ever person to pull it out in competitive and managing to help Hermit score a 4K on his debut match. Meanwhile, his Naiad is also terrifying, also scoring multiple 4Ks with it. By utilizing his Naiad and Hermit, he also scored 4 out of 4 4Ks. With both teams' hunter charging on fire, this makes the final showdown between both teams more exciting. However, that is when a difference between two teams came into play and determined the result. Knowing that LB is a Hermit main, MS made 2 precautions against him. First, their team comp is designed to counter Hermit, as they purposely selected Gravekeeper, Enchantress, and Psychologist, and especially the Psychologist proves to be fatal to Hermit, as throughout the first game of BO1, the Psychologist acts as a power bank that can take damage without losing health. Also, they had 2 survivors that would decode the ciphers that Hermit did not connect at the start. As a result, despite Hermit can slow the cipher speed down, MS survivors are still able to decode in a very fast pace, popping all ciphers less than 5 minutes and securing a tie. After BO1 ended in a tie, in BO2, instead of the Hermit, MS opted to ban LB's Naiad instead and chose Psychologist once again to counter the Hermit, with the addition of Prospector and Gravekeeper. And this spectacular team comp choice did came into play, as LB's Hermit took a relatively long time to down the Psychologist due to her extra bit of health, and subsequently, with the Gravekeeper choice, Hermit struggled to secure the second down fast enough, allowing MS to tie against LB once again. And this is where the difference between the two teams came into play. As seen throughout this tournament, LB's hunter proficiency are mainly seen in his Hermit and Naiad. Meanwhile, Mitaki has a proficiency in a variety of hunters. In BO2's second half, against this team comp, Mitaki has chosen the Guard 26, which is a good counter against this team. And he has never played the Guard 26 in earlier rounds. With this surprise pick, he managed to secure the 4K to give MS the lead. And at BO3, that is where both teams' difference became apparent, because AW's hunter strength resides in the first 2 rounds, but MS's hunter, having a large variety of hunter characters, he is able to maintain his strength throughout the entire BO3. With that difference, MS also took BO3 and managed to win. So with that, once again, congratulations to MS for making it to the global finals as Korea's representative for 2 years in a row. After seeing their performance last year, especially from I'm So Sexy's female dancer, I am looking forward to see their performance this year. With that, this wraps up the end of this COA 6 recap. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Anyways guys, this is Invisible Jong. I'll see you next time. See ya!